It's Monday, my dudes. That means it's time for a Halo Q&A. So if you don't know the rules to this, all you have to do is leave your Halo-related questions in the comments section below, and maybe they'll be answered on next week's show. So we're going to kick this week off with a question from Vanny Bug, who says, Q&A. Should Infinite introduce a whole new alien species into the mix? Maybe something from outside the galaxy. Something indifferent to the struggles in our galaxy. Something truly alien and Lovecraftian, perhaps? This is something that I think would be in the series' best interest to explore going forward. As far as a new alien species would go, or a new alien faction coming in from outside of the Milky Way galaxy and just being kind of like, what's going on here? Okay, I guess this is ours now. That would be pretty interesting. How would you guys do that? I saw some people talking on the Halo subreddit a while ago about, now this is not a new alien faction, and honestly I wouldn't go down this route, but they were talking about the possibility of precursor aliens being an alien faction, and since precursors are depicted as kind of being Lovecraftian and formless, you'd almost design their whole species around shape-shifting. I think of kind of like the Lambent from Gears of War, or better yet, the Flood Pure Forms, the way they can change and morph to adapt to a combat situation. But let's come up with a new alien species right on the spot, or at least a new alien faction. Okay, as far as aesthetics go, what would they look like? This is something that could be cool. Now, I'm just spitballing right here off the top of my head. Like, if you had a gun to my head and told me to make a new alien faction in Halo right now, okay, their aesthetic, they'd be very bug and insect-like. They'd kind of have the gigantic buggy eyeballs. Maybe we can give them mandibles, but that might be a little bit too elite-like. So yeah, they can have teeth and stuff. We can make them bipedal. Maybe give them two arms on each side, but I don't know if that would be too Fallen-like from Destiny. You could even go with kind of like a Mad Max look to them. All their stuff looks very, like, rugged. They're kind of billowing out black smoke as they move. We could give them kind of a sandy yellow color to all of their vehicles and stuff. Their language, when they talk, they could sound very crickety and very, you know, when they're talking, just something like that. As far as their weapons go, it could be very needle-focused or nail-focused. Make them almost look like scrappers or junkers with the way that they design all their stuff. Now, not to be... I'm realizing as I speak that sounds a little bit too much like The Banished. I don't know, man. I don't know how you do it, because on the flip side, you could try having organic aliens, where all their stuff looks very squishy and organic, but that could also be a little bit weird. Although it could be interesting. So the next question comes from Blop Boy, who says, Halo Q&A. What do you think about Halo reaching out to new environments? Instead of it being land and air, maybe move on to sea and space. Tell me your thoughts and have a great day. So it all depends, I guess, on how it would be executed. So I'm going to answer a couple of questions within this question, because people have been asking me, what would I feel about a kind of Star Wars Battlefront 2, as in the original-esque, space combat sequence. Reach kind of dipped its toe into that with the Long Night of Solace level, and controversially, I don't like that level too much. I really like the level once you actually land and you're on the Covenant cruiser, but the really tediously long fighter pilot sequence where you're just centering the screen and pressing the trigger till there's no more things to press the trigger on, I don't know, that wasn't fun for me. It took way too long to complete, and I don't think it really played to Halo's strengths. Halo isn't a one-gun game, and the fighter pilot thing is kind of unfortunately one gun, or, well, I guess two, because you can also lock onto them. It just wasn't very interesting. I don't think it played to Halo's strong suit, so combat stuff I'm not particularly interested in with Halo, but as far as sea goes, this would be super interesting. So I had this thought a while ago where you could have a level where, as Master Chief, you have to go deep diving. There's something at the bottom of an ocean or a lake or a sea or something like that the Covenant are digging up, and they have mining equipment down there. Maybe there's a Forerunner relic or something more interesting. And so you since Master Chief is so heavy, boom, he sinks like a rock all the way down to the bottom. And that's when your headlamps will turn on, and you can have bubbles kind of going up to the surface. You could have bioluminescent jellyfish, weird kelp, weird alien sea life. As you fire your gun, your bullets could be making bubble trails. And as far as your movement goes, you'd be a lot more sluggish, but you could kind of moon bounce your way around the environment and stuff. And maybe this is where the thruster pack would be cool as far as gameplay goes, because you could use it to kind of propel yourself through the water a little bit quicker, but you'd be kind of stuck going in a straight line until you turned off your thruster pack. The Covenant, you could have them in deep diving suits or whatever. You could imagine like a little bubble on the grunt or whatever as it's like hobbling around and swimming after you. I mean, not swimming, you know, they'd all be moon bouncing and stuff. And you could almost picture how cool the plasma rounds would look underwater. The way it's all dark, except for your headlight lighting things up, and maybe the glow from the Covenant's deep diving suits, and the occasional plasma bolt that would sizzle and burn through the water, making bubbles as it goes, because plasma's pretty hot, so it would be kind of bubbling up the water around it as it's sizzling after you. Just stuff like that would be super cool. As far as the atmosphere goes, everything could be very, very, like muffled, like you can barely hear anything. You could even hear like weird alien wails kind of coming, like bleeding over the battle sounds. Just cool atmospheric stuff like that. I was almost thinking of BioShock 2. So the next question comes from Liam Acock, who says, Q&A. How do you think the game will perform compared to its console counterpart? All 6 of the games from the franchise coming to PC were on the original Xbox and the Xbox 360. Neither were the most powerful system on the market, and I want to get your opinion on the performance of the games. Since 343 is pulling the Blizzard approach to not release content until it's polished and well made, do you believe that even low-end-ish computers will be able to play it? Also, thank you for doing YouTube. I really enjoy your videos, and they make me really happy when I watch them. Well, thank you. Your comment makes me really happy, and it energizes me. So as far as the performance goes, he's talking about the Master Chief Collection coming to Steam, as well as Windows 10 Store. What their 343 is aiming for, and they did tell us this, obviously it will take advantage of super high-end PCs to run it the best, but these games are also old, and they are saying that it will probably be able to run on a variety of PCs at really good frame rates and performance. They're not expecting these to slow your computer down to a crawl. If any of you guys played El Dorito, by the way, remember how well that game ran? That ran on a very, very modified version of the Halo 3 engine, if I remember right. The only games I'm envisioning having performance problems, not performance problems, because it all depends on how well it's optimized, is maybe Halo 2 Anniversary. And that's just because you've got the 2 engines running on top of each other for new graphics, old graphics, and the new graphics are pretty good. They've got pretty high quality assets. So that's the only one that I could see maybe problems, but even then, I don't really know the code myself. I don't know how hard it would be to run, so I just know that 343 is really aiming to make these run well. They don't want any problems, and they want people even on potato PCs to be able to run the Master Chief Collection. I believe Sketch actually said in the Reddit AMA a while ago that it will also be available for Windows 7 users, or they're at least exploring that, I think he said. Don't quote me on that if anyone can actually find the exact quote, but yeah. The next question comes from Spartan Aviation, who says, Q&A, are you going to Outpost Discovery? And if so, which location are you going to? So I am going to Outpost Discovery. If you guys don't know what Outpost Discovery is, it's essentially a Halo traveling circus. A lot of fans are going to be going there. There's going to be a lot of Halo props set up. There's going to be a Halo museum. There's going to be a Pelican VR experience. There's going to be a Covenant escape room, which looks pretty cool, where you have to get off of a Covenant cruiser. It's pretty neat, actually, and there's, most importantly, a lot of Halo fans are going to be there. It's going to be a huge community event, and I'm actually planning to go to both the Chicago one and the Philadelphia one. That's the current plan. The Philadelphia one is closer to me, so I can definitely make it to that one. Chicago one we'll definitely see, but the plan is that I'm also going to be going there as well. I just realized I should probably get like a t-shirt or something so people know that it's me. Because I am also really excited to meet subscribers there and hang out and spend the day with people. Oh my god, yeah, I do need to get a t-shirt. Maybe I should order a YouTube t-shirt just so I can look like a prick walking around with a YouTube t-shirt so people know that it's me. Maybe I should just make a Late Night Gaming t-shirt. Oh man, that's something else. People have been telling me to make Late Night Gaming t-shirts. Merch! That's what they're saying. I have a lot to do this year. Jesus Christ. The next question comes from Ace of Apples, who says, Q&A. Do you think it's a good idea for Halo 5 to be on PC? Do you think that there's any chance of it not becoming canon, or is it too late? Thanks. Halo 5 not being canon, that will never happen. Halo 5 did happen, the campaign at least, and we have to live with that, unfortunately. But it's also one of those things that we can move on from it. If Halo 5, like before, when Halo 5 came out, I was thinking, okay, this is the end. There's no way we can move past this. And then Halo Wars 2 came out, and it was really fun, and it had nothing to do with Halo 5. It was its own separate story. And Halo Infinite, based on the trailers and the teasers and stuff, and some of the weird quotes from people like Frank O'Connor on Reset Era talking about the time jump and the kind of way that it's going to take it after Halo Combat Evolved, there are ways that we can move past Halo 5. It was just a rough patch for the series, and I do think that we can move past it. We just need to get this frickin' Cortana story out of the way so that we can move on to the good stuff and kind of get back to more interesting stories. So I do think it's possible to move past this. I don't think Halo 5 has to be non-canon. And as far as like Halo 5 on PC, I do believe Frank O'Connor was actually quoted recently as saying that they're not working on Halo 5 for PC, they don't have any plans to bring it on PC, and even saying that it wouldn't work well on PC because the problem is there's way too many buttons to press. The beauty of why the older Halo games can work in a PC setting is because you're not pressing quite as many keys. The gameplay is very simple, it's very easy. And unfortunately, Halo 5 is a little bit too crazy. And I also feel the same way when playing it with a controller. My hands cramp up after a while of playing because I'm just like, my fingers are going crazy pressing all these buttons. Yeah, no. I can see why it wouldn't work on PC, and I can see why they're not bringing it to PC, but just for the sake of the Master Chief story, I do hope that Halo 5 comes to PC. I definitely wouldn't be playing it. I don't like Halo 5, but just for the sake of the story, you know, even if it wasn't a very good story, it still happened. So, yeah. So we're going to close this Q&A off with a question from Agent Allen, who says, Q&A. So I've heard from other channels, not sure if it's true, that 343 are going to have pro-competitive players test the multiplayer for Halo Infinite. And do you think that this is actually going to be bad for Halo Infinite? What if the multiplayer turns out to be more suited for competitive play rather than casual chill play? I don't know about you, but my friends and I are just casual players, and I'm worried that I won't be able to enjoy the multiplayer built for competitive play. New to the channel, and love the vids I've seen so far. So thank you so much for those kind words, but as far as you're concerned with competitive play, remember most of these games have all been played competitively before they're released to fine-tune things. Because there is an internal competitive team, that doesn't mean that the game is being exclusively designed for competitive play. It is in 343's best interest to have the game competitively viable so that it can work at the HCS, but it's also important that they make it casual and accessible for certain people who don't want to be sweaty 24/7. I do think that a mistake made with Halo 5 was that they leaned a bit too much into the competitive scene and making the game a bit too competitive, and I actually do think there was kind of like a quote from, it was either Josh Holmes or Quindel Hoyo, when they were talking about, a while ago, Warzone versus the Arena for Halo 5, and they were saying that the problem was that they had tried to segment casual play and esports play into two separate categories, where if you're a casual player, just go play Warzone. Arena is for the competitive players. That was a mistake that they had made. And so I'm suspecting that with Infinite, they're going to try to cool things down, make things a little bit more accessible. I mean, the mere fact that Frank O'Connor acknowledged that Halo 5 takes way too many buttons to simply play it, that has me a little bit more interested now as far as making the game easier to play and just more relaxing to play. You don't have to worry. Having an internal competitive team is not a problem. It's a thing that most games have. It's just purely to make sure that it is competitively viable, because the esports makes a lot of money. But, you know, they're not in a tunnel vision. They understand that there are two camps, the competitive players and the casual players. And we'll just have to see how this turns out. So guys, I hope that you enjoyed this. I enjoy doing them every week. So leave your questions down below. Reach out to me on Twitter or Facebook with any more questions. And I'll see you guys on the next video.